Hi guys. So today we are going to start our new unit on polynomial functions. So you should be following along with your notes at home. First thing is, what is a polynomial? It is an expression made up of one or more variables. One or more monomials. When we have polynomials, we always try to have them written in standard form and descending order of degree. So descending order of degree means alpha order with highest exponent first. So if you have multiple exponents, it should be in alphabetical. An example of putting a polynomial in standard form would be, say I have this polynomial written in standard form would look like this. I want to put it in descending order of degree. So degree is those little exponents. So this has a degree of 2, 3, and this has a degree of 0, which we'll get to down here. So I want to put the 3 first because that's the largest degree. So 4x cubed plus x squared, because 2 is my next highest degree, and then my 3 would be next. Some more vocab that's important for us to discuss is the leading coefficient, which is the number written in front of the variable with the largest exponent. So if we look at this one right here, the largest exponent variable is x cubed right here. That's the largest exponent, is that 3. So the number in front of it would be the leading coefficient. So this 4 would be our leading coefficient. Our coefficient in general is a number written in front of any given variable. Something important to note here is that a coefficient is a product with the variable. So 4 and x cubed, 4 is the coefficient, but it's a product to that variable in the sense that it multiplies. Our next term is a degree, which is the highest sum of exponents for any one monomial of the polynomial. So this one would have a degree, this polynomial would have a degree of 3 because that is the largest exponent. It's the largest one. When they say the highest sum, they're kind of talking about if I had a polynomial like this. Okay, the biggest degree I have here is 2, but because the variables are attached, you would actually add these together, 2 and 1, and it would be a degree of 3. So that's where they're getting that highest sum from. But we won't focus too much on any of these. We'll mostly focus on one variable. And then a constant is a value that does not change, and there's no variable with it. Now I want to talk a little bit about how we classify polynomials. I actually wish on this note sheet that these were flip-flopped, because when I classify a polynomial, I like to have a first name and a last name. And that's why I would rather have them flipped, because our first name is our degree and our last name is our number of terms. So if you were classifying me, you would say Lindsay Sweeney. If you're classifying a polynomial, you're going to call it by its degree and then its number of terms. Now, there are names for all of this. So we'll start with the degrees since that's the first name. A degree of 0 is a constant. An example of a degree of 0 would be if I had just the number 3. That has a degree of 0 because there's no exponent. If there was an exponent, it would be to the power of 0, which would end up making the exponent go away. If I raise an exponent to the power of 0, that just equals 1. So that's why the x disappears. A degree of 1 is called linear, and or example of that would be, say I had 2x. That x is to the power of 1. So that's a degree of 1, linear. Then we have a quadratic. Example of that would be if I had x squared. It's to the power of 2, it's quadratic. To the power of 3 is a cubic. So that's if I had x cubed, x to the power of 3, that's the cubic degree. 4 is quartic. So if I had x to the power of 4. And I'm going to add one more to this chart because we do see it somewhere on this worksheet. If I had to the power of 5, that would be quintic. So x to the power of 5. Then our polynomials can also have a last name, and that's based on how many terms we have. Terms are separated by addition or subtraction sign. So like this has 1 term. This one has 2 because there's one addition sign between them separating this term and this term. That would have 1 term, and there's 2 addition and subtraction, so that's 3 terms. We have 3 pieces separated by operations. So if we have 1 term, that is called a monomial. 2 terms is a binomial. Kind of squeeze that I in. I'm just going to rewrite that for you so you know how to spell it. 3 terms is a trinomial. And anything 4 terms or more, we would just say polynomial with blank terms, whatever amount of terms. So if I had a polynomial with 4 terms, I'd say polynomial with 4 terms. So let's take a stab at these 4 problems here together and try to name these, classify these. So this one, we want to do first name first. Remember, if I was classifying myself, I'd be Lindsay Sweeney. So if I want to classify 6, I want to look over here. What's the degree? That would be constant because there's no variable with it. So it is a constant, and there's only 1 term here, so that would be a monomial. So constant monomial. Here, I have the highest degree of a 2, so that would be a quadratic. And then I have 2 terms because they're separated. These 2 expressions are separated by this addition sign. So I have 2 terms. So 2 terms would be a binomial. Now it's important to note, we don't really see this on this worksheet yet, but you always want to make sure before you classify that they are in that standard form, descending order of degree. Because if they are mixed up, you might accidentally give it the wrong first name. This one is to the power of 5, so that would be a quintic for degree. And then it has 1 term, so that's a monomial. And then this last one here, it is to the power of 3, so that would be a cubic. And I see 1, 2, 3 terms, so that would be a trinomial. Okay. On the next page, this is something you guys are going to do on your own today, and I can post an answer key. You are just going to fill this chart in. This is that first name. This is that last name. You are just going to fill this in just like we just did, just to get yourself practice with writing it out. And then you're going to name or classify these 12 polynomials. Okay. They are all in standard form, so that's good news. So you're just classifying these for me, okay? Okay, that is it. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day.